I really don't like that not Christianity, feminism is being sprinkled into everything. I was watching this viral video of this black Muslim woman, and she's arguing with a white supremacist female on TV about Australia's um, immigration policy and how they want to model Trump. I've actually been to Australia myself, and I'm very aware of the racism. When I was there, there was huge protests between over the same issue of immigration, but it was mostly white. You'd be surprised. It's really mostly white on white um, protesting, because you will have white people who are like, yeah, it's okay, let's bring them in, and then you have these neo-Nazi whites fighting each other and doing all this other crap. But yeah, it's a it's a very racial you know there's a lot of people, they make race very obvious, and I also remember when I was there that there was huge talks about overpopulation, and that their greatest fear was that there's going to be too many people rushing into Australia, too many immigrants, mostly Chinese. That was their biggest fear, was the Chinese coming here, and the Chinese. I believe the fear was the Chinese and the Indians. They already had like I wouldn't say a legitimate ban from Africans. I'm aware that there are some Africans, but I do feel like the Ebola thing did you may I don't know how many Africans were turned down because they have like a very strict Ebola flight policy, and I don't know the specifics on it, but because I remember when I was there, they did ask you if you're from an African country that was affected by Ebola. So I was kind of wondering, like, does this hinder Africans from entering the country? But anyways, I wanted to get about this black woman, this black Muslim feminist, and I don't mind her, her viewpoints when it came to combating the racist rhetoric that white lady was spewing. I sided with her on that. But what confused me was her, saying that Islam is the most feminist religion. And I was kind of like, what? I'm like, you made a good argument battling, this debating this white lady. And then because they were debating about Sharia law, and she was saying that the Muslim woman was saying that uh, Sharia law has been misinterpreted by a lot of white people, Western societies. And so, that's kind of like the funny thing about conservatives is that they will whine about shit like, oh, well, in your country, people can't talk or they can't speak or they don't have the right to challenge the government. And then, like, because they'll be saying this to foreigners, and then when when people challenge or question, the status quo of America, let's just say a Black Lives Matter protest happen again, and then these same conservatives will be like, why don't you guys you guys don't vote, you don't fix the crime in your community, they start doing all that respectability politics or whatever, and they'll change the subject. But I really didn't understand where she was going with the Muslim one was going with with her argument that Islam is a feminist religion. I'm like, like even something as simple as the hijab, the hijabi, and the burqa. like that's to show like modesty. That's not, I understand, like, people say like, well, there's different types of feminism and people express their I'm just kind of going with like the default feminist, the typical feminist. Like you can't be modest and a feminist. That seems just like a contradiction. Okay, I'm good. And it didn't make a lot of it didn't make a lot of a lot of sense to me. Just making sure like people ain't creeping up on me. I saw somebody parking directly behind me. But anyways, yeah, like with the burqa and the hijabi, that's just that's to show modesty. That's something that men, came up with to protect, or have the concept of. It's protecting um women from men's lustful eyes. It's kind of like saying a certain action will prevent you from rape. I mean, like that's basically what it is, or what it's there for, you know. But yeah, and then there's like another thing, like feminism. I mean, Islam isn't liberal. There's you might have some people that are a little relaxed or whatnot, but you have like things called haram, or and haram is just basically things that are not allowed. Like for instance, you're not allowed to eat pork. There's certain sex practices that you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to digest um, alien fluid, and so I believe oral sex is forbidden, and they do discourage um, bastard babies and premarital sex. And so to me, you can't. To me, she just kind of lost me because it's like, this religion is structured. Granted, not every Muslim is an angel, but not saying that they don't break their own rules, but you know, it's not liberal. It's not feminism. It's not like, you don't see Muslim women with hijab showing skin, or wearing belly tops, or whatever, and just saying, we do whatever we want, you know and I'm aware of these feminists, Muslim feminists, but even they maintain the structure. They may, because I always look at how they dress. I can give a less of a crap of what their feminism, what type of feminist they are. You always look at how they dress. If it's they're usually, well, most of the times they have to cover their arms and legs. They can't show skin from there. And so, if that's covered, I don't take these Muslim feminists seriously. It's just that they're using feminists for their advantage. So, it, some can say that they're being manipulated by white feminists, or that, or maybe they just could be using them, to get an edge over white men. It can go both ways, either or. But anyways, it's just, if there's certain religions, like you can't really say there really isn't a feminist religion. That seems a bit awkward. You know, maybe feminine spirituality, but not religion, because religion is structured, and feminism is about, not being structured, or not being, or you defining your own. You know, it, you know. So I really don't get like why people even bother, trying to sprinkle everything into feminism. Like, they'll That's the annoying thing about feminists is that they love sprinkling everything you do and make it seem like that's a feminist ideology. Jeez, what will they think of next?